The issue of abortion brings thousands to the street.
Because we're on the right side of history.
And brings the vice president here to Florida. Finding an affordable place to live is a challenge.
It's really, really difficult to live on your own.
As Gen Z enters the workforce. Plus, a special surprise for a cancer patient who just happens to be named Delilah.
Oh my gosh, and I just did this face.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez. I'm Kelly Sanchez. Today is Monday, January 23rd, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Abortion at issue in demonstrations, both in D.C. and here in Miami. It's also what brought Vice President Kamala Harris here to the Sunshine State. Following the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, protesters took to the streets of downtown Miami to have their voices heard on women's reproductive rights.
The network's Leanne Abutar-Bush has more on the story.
The debate over abortion rights continues, with a lot of people gathering in front of Miami courthouse demanding for abortion access and better health care for all women.
It just does start with Roe v. Wade. It's an attack on women's autonomy in general, and I think worse things are yet to come if we don't protest this and stand up against it.
Sunday marks the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that protected abortion rights. The court overturned that ruling last summer, but protesters showed up dressed in green, filling the streets of downtown Miami demanding for reproductive freedom.
My daughter is going to have to fight for this, and other people are going to have to fight for something that should be fundamental to kind of human rights is important.
It's the 50th anniversary of Roe, and it's the first time since then that we haven't had that protecting us. That's really scary.
Young women, old women, and even men march with their signs held high and their chants loud and clear.
This has been something that's been a fight in our country for so long, and we just recently got it back just for it to be gone again. It seems like we're going back in time.
Well, women don't have any control over anything if we don't have control over our own bodies.
I was out here fighting for Roe in the 1970s, and here I am again, second wave feminist, still in the struggle.
And the power of being a woman is having a choice in everything that you do. And to take away that choice, it's almost taking away their ability for them to be a woman.
Although Roe v. Wade was overturned 7 months ago, the fight for equal protective rights remains a struggle for many women across the nation, especially here in South Florida. I'm Leanne Abutar-Bush. This is South Florida Media Network.
Vice President Kamala Harris was in Florida's capital city to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the now overturned Roe v. Wade. In Tallahassee yesterday, more than 1,000 people lined up to hear the Vice President speak at the Moon, a venue less than 3 miles from the governor's mansion and the Florida's Capitol building. Her 19-minute speech focused on numerous topics, including the shooting in California and President Biden's presidential memorandum to secure safe medication for women.
And our administration are now directed, as of the president's order, to recommend actions to make sure that doctors can legally prescribe, that pharmacies can dispense, and that women can secure safe and effective medication.
Her speech also took jabs at who she called the so-called leaders of Florida, whose anti-abortion laws she called extremist.
In addition to Florida, women's march rallies took place in every state and the District of Columbia. For the national mobilization Bigger Than Roe, D.C. Bureau reporter Nicole Ardila has more on this story from Washington.
Here at the nation's capital, thousands of people are gathered for the Bigger Than Roe march to fight back for the constitutional right to an abortion 50 years after the Roe v. Wade case.
Child killing.
The march in D.C. is only one of the 200 sister rallies across the nation this weekend for the 50th year anniversary of the landmark case. With the overturn of Roe last year, many adult protesters feel like they're repeating history.
Yeah, I grew up during the 60s and 70s, and I've already been through this once, and I'm devastated by the Supreme Court. They no longer represent the people.
The marchers started at Freedom Plaza, made their way to the White House, and finished at the Supreme Court, lasting almost 3 hours. People of all ages, genders, and races participated in this march, yelling chants and holding handmade signs to send a message to lawmakers.
We will fight year in and year out. We've been fighting for decades and we'll keep going.
Pro-abortion rights marchers were confronted by anti-abortion demonstrators, calling each other profane names and occasionally creating altercations.
I get where they might be coming from, but what really is, as soon as that life is then birthed, they really don't care if they get shot up at a school, they don't care if it dies from cancer, they really don't care. They just want to force, it's not about life, it's about forcing control on women.
Even with the rainy weather, the people of D.C. came to express their anger and concern for the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Nicole Ardila for the South Florida Media Network.
Gen Z is struggling to find rent in cities like D.C. and Miami due to high pricing. The network's Angela Rivas joins us from the Shaw neighborhood in D.C.
Shaw is one of D.C.'s hippest up-and-coming neighborhoods. Home of the Lincoln Theater, small business boutiques, and new restaurants, Shaw is attracting people to the city. But here on French Street, rents for apartments start at $2,200 for a studio.
In D.C., rent can be found anywhere between $2,200 to $4,200 for an apartment. Tourist attractions and job opportunities attract Gen Z to the city, but many struggle trying to find affordable housing in a safe area.
First job out of college, so we didn't have a lot of savings built up. So we wanted to find housing that was in our budget and also in a pretty safe neighborhood.
This can also be seen in Miami, where rent increased 7.6% in 2022 and 25.5% in 2021. Marlene Resendiz, a 21-year-old college student in Miami, has struggled finding housing for the past couple of years.
I only work about 25 to 27 hours. So I don't make a lot of money to begin with. And I have looked into housing recently because I want to try to, be more independent. And it's been really, really expensive and really difficult with the current salary that I make. As someone who makes only, $12 an hour, it's really, really difficult to live on your own. I can only see it ever working out if you have a partner or someone else to help you out, or like your parents.
But college students are not the only ones having trouble finding a place to stay. Maxwell Frost, the first Gen Z U.S. representative, was rejected from apartments due to his bad credit caused by his campaign debt. In a tweet from December 8th, 2022, he said, "This ain't meant for people who don't already have money." On This Week with George Stephanopoulos, Maxwell Frost said that he would have to couch surf for a bit. I'm Angela Rivas in Washington, D.C. for South Florida Media Network.
This weekend, the D.C. community headed to the streets to celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year. Reporter Rachel Acosta has more from Washington, D.C.
After a 2-year hiatus because of the coronavirus pandemic, the DC community gathered in the heart of Chinatown to celebrate the Lunar New Year in person, which is the Year of the Rabbit.
In Chinese culture, the Year of the Rabbit symbolizes a period of peace and self-reflection. The celebration included a parade featuring multiple demonstrations from community organizations, one of them being the Hmong People Association, a group that teaches Kung Fu and is also known for its traditional Southern Chinese lion dance.
It's one of those things that family is all about. Is one of those things in which your parents is all about. They hopefully give you the instruments, the tools that will take you a lot further in life, of benefit to yourself. And here at this performance, I see those tools being used by the students to be a benefit to themselves and to the community, and people see it on display and they like it.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the Asian American community is close to 5% of the D.C. population, but people from all backgrounds were present to honor the Chinese culture.
It's just like a really fun time for people to get together and celebrate their culture and heritage.
The parade ended with firecrackers in the Chinese tradition of scaring off bad spirits as the community welcomed the new year. Reporting for South Florida Media Network from Washington, D.C., I'm Rachel Costa.
A different Lunar New Year celebration ending in tragedy, and this morning we have an update on the shooter. The suspect of the Saturday night shooting near Los Angeles, which killed 10 people, has been found dead by police. California police say the gunman had a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was declared dead at the scene. Another 10 people were wounded in the shooting, and 7 people are still in the hospital, some in critical condition. Police do not yet know the motive for the attack.
New details have surfaced about a diver who floated adrift near Key West and managed to survive thanks to his diving experience. Dylan Gartenmayer, who is now 21, began diving when he was only 11 years old. He was free diving near a reef in the lower Keys when a strong current submerged him. When he resurfaced, he was no longer by his boat. A bamboo stick he held onto helped him float as he swam 2 miles back to the reef. After family members spotted him, they helped him get back to safety.
The New Orleans Pelicans looking for a little revenge as they face the Heat in the Miami-Dade Arena.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I hear you're a big fan of our song Hey There Delilah, so figured that I would play it for you right now. So here we go.
It started as a TikTok to a brave young music fan, and then it turned into so much more. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
A tiny warrior in a fight for her life gets a boost from one of her personal heroes. A viral video capturing the heartwarming moment that a young cancer patient has her dreams come true.
8-year-old Delilah Loya has been battling cancer for the last 4 years. Her mom, Samantha, says TikToker Isaiah Garza reached out to her wanting to make one of Delilah's dreams come true. After Samantha told Isaiah that Delilah listens to the song Hey There Delilah by the band Plain White T's every day, he flew the lead singer out to California to serenade Delilah.
I hear you're a big fan of our song Hey There Delilah, so figured that I would play it for you right now. So here we go. Actually, you know what? I got a better idea. Hang on a second.
Oh my God!
Hi, Delilah.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City?
The video has already been viewed over 15 million times. When she's not being serenaded, Delilah uses painting to keep her spirits up.
Round 2 for Miami Heat versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and the results were the same. The Pelicans had more goal going into the second game, keeping a lead for 3 quarters, but it all took a dive as the Heat started raising the temperature. In the last quarter, the Heat took the lead for the win. The final score was Pelicans 96, Heat 100. The Heat will play Boston Celtics tomorrow at 7:30 p.m.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Kelly Sanchez.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.